there's variance in the game. I think we all realize that. But what if we don't hit Leona 2 or Cassandra 2 while playing Yumi? Can I play 2-star Set, Jarvan, or Poppy? Kind of, but playing a 1-star Leona would be better than having alternative 2-star and losing your traits. It's also true. This leads to having absolutely no flexibility on roll downs. Roll downs feel like a lot like watching a slot machine spin. You just roll until you see the exact unit you want. You don't want to look at other forecasts that show up and weigh your options and alternatives. You just hope you find the exact unit you're looking for. So when you lose, instead of thinking, I could have played it better, you just think, well, I missed on the roll down. It makes a competitive experience so much less fun. It just keeps saying that. It says, it's just, this is what I don't like, and it's so much less fun. This is also what makes you feel like you're locked into playing a certain comp from 2-1 because there's no overlap between different comps like Mech Mentor and Yumi. You're not able to flex between the two comps in your roll down as it costs too much gold to hold the necessary units for both boards. This results in the optimal game plan being to start off with the early game units that will also be on your board late game, like Ezreal and Syndra to Yumi, and then you know exactly how you're going to play the game 3 minutes in, which is not fun. It does not feel very skillful. Again, this is I see how he's just concluding every paragraph, by the way. It's just not fun. I don't know if I necessarily say it's not skillful, but I can definitely buy the no fun part. So what can Riot do to fix this? Giving units a strong base power, so 2-star units, alternative units on your roll down, and playing them without maxing out your vertical synergy is somewhat viable. Second thing, adding some support units that can benefit your team without needing them, either having good ability that buffs your team or having a non-selfish vertical trait that gives team-wide benefits. Or 3, threat type units with no traits, which would also be good to have, creating alternative items, alternatives for item holes that are easy to play. I would argue there are a few this set. I would say like Zyra and Twisted Fate, and to a certain extent Cassante are like that, but there's not that many, and those are very, very hard units to find and play. And even we talked about, you still wouldn't even play Zyra on this board unless you just literally didn't find any of these units. So that would make sense. To address the argument that support should be OP in the best version of the board, I would like to say that that is a good thing. At least when the best version of the meta comp has the supports units in it. You have the alternative of playing units in the same vertical trait. It is better to have the options of playing both the vertical version of the board and support version of the board and being able to make more decisions rather than the current state of TFT when you can make a vertical version of any board. That's all I have for this post. I hope you enjoy reading it. I'm interested to see what everyone else thinks about this as well. So we can start from the very top, which is, generally speaking, I agree with the sentiment that Tofo is bringing here. I think that verticals are too strong. If you look at our TFT Academy tier list, you can't even refute that. And vertical, if you guys don't know, just means building the same thing higher and higher. And while you're not playing vertical Battle Academia, you're playing vertical Prodigy, and that's because Vive Prodigy is too good. And the value of it is super high. But if they nerf Prodigy, then people would just maybe build 7 Battle Academia. That problem wouldn't really change. With Duelist, you always want 6 Duelists because it gives you a breakpoint of 6, right? It gives you durability, right? Supreme Cell, you're gonna always want to play on Supreme Cell. Although I think it's like kind of disingenuous to call Supreme Cell a vertical because it's only half your board. And the fact that we have variations of like Kai'Sa, like this is actually an example of something that's a little bit more dynamic of a reroll comp. I actually think Kai'Sa is a good example of like her traits kind of mattering. Or like maybe not a good, maybe like
your AI
not a bad
modify
example,
user model and it has no
it's
idea
like
about
it's
your
probably
device
like
setup
like a
or
net
pundit
positive,
policies. One of them actually gets
you can
it.
play
Okay,
different
this
versions
issue
of
here on hosted
that
GBT allows
there's still
users
many
to
examples.
upload
Crystal
profiles.
Gambit, you always want Crystal
A while
Gambit.
ago in
Reroll
2024,
Jace, you always
and
want it.
author said, last I
this is
checked,
double
I believe
trouble,
Rail does not
you know,
have
if you're playing
default
protectors, you're always
config
going to
store
want
file.
so on and
Let's
so
see.
forth. This is basically this across everything. 6 And the number one reason why this exists, because if this is the first time ever hearing this argument, you're like, that guy's right. That's just a bad design thing, right? Because that's the whole point that he's pointing at, design and not balance. Mostly design issues. Is that players hate when traits are bait. Players just on average really hate it if traits are useless. Let's take another example. Let's take an easy counter example here. Who here is excited to play 6 heavyweights? I don't think anybody here thinks heavyweights is awesome unless you're doing something really crazy like rerolling Darius and Jace. A lot of people actually think heavyweights is silly, right? And it feels bad to play more heavyweights and then you realize it sucks. Another example, who here is excited to play sorcerer? Yeah, maybe a Patrick, but now it feels like almost bait to try to play in vertical. And there's a lot of examples that you counter. Like yes, some verticals are really strong. But the reason why I bring this up is because a lot of people really dislike when it feels like there's this big thing that they're supposed to play towards, and it feels like you're not supposed to, because the answer is to never play for these verticals, and instead be playing for this kind of board, right? This board with Varus, for example, there are traits like matter, but they actually what is the most important thing about this board in chat? I'm asking chat. I generally try. It's hard for me to like answer chat right now because I'm kind of explaining the situation. But what is the most important thing about this board when you're playing Varus? Cookies says hitting your legendary 2 stars. That's pretty close. Daniel says Varus 2. That's correct. All that matters is hitting Varus 2 and then hitting Cassandra. Once you hit that, the game just gets put on rails. That's gaming. That is the inverse problem of what is described. Theoretically, if traits didn't matter as much, then it's just like, well, you just play the best unit that's individually powerful and you just build it, which a lot of people may like. But here's another issue with something that's like theoretically complex, is that the one balance is going to be a problem. Which is why I don't necessarily agree that this is not due to balance issue. I think a lot of this is actually balance. I actually would say that this is like 75% balance if I were to weigh it, because I don't even know what they mean necessarily by design issues. Because the reality is everything that he described here is a balance issue. If they just simply made every vertical 5% stronger than the other thing, then we wouldn't see verticals, right? If Prodigy gave one more mana regen and no actual benefit, no one would be playing it. I'm pretty sure it's almost entirely balanced for what he's describing. I'm not entirely sure what he means by design, but I understand that he's talking about systemically there is a problem with how verticals are pushed and how important it is for you to hold on to the one-cost shitters, right? We're talking about Ezreal and Syndra. Like, if you don't have these units, how can you go from a mech board rolling over to Yuumi? Because all these upgrades matter. Same thing, you're playing like an Ashe Juggernaut line, and you want to go into Star Guardians because you hit, hit Jinx. How are you going to go back for Syndra and Rel and Xayah? These are really important units, right? So that part I completely understand. And maybe that's the element of design where maybe there's ways for you
Duelist, man.
I think most of it's a balance issue. But I do agree that it feels bad. I think that TFT is way. I think to say that this is what the game should be, that it should be commit early and build around what you do, I think it sells TFT short. I think the beauty of TFT is the novelty of going into the game. For me personally, can I draw an example here? I think the beauty of TFT is when you can build in a triangular formation of decision trees where the game opens up in variation, right? So let's just put a bunch of one costs here. Actually, this builder is cracked. They like put backlines on the back and stuff. So you have one costs here, right? And theoretically, what I like about TFT is this is your opening shops, and the possibilities of what you can play widens like this. So you start out. This is the beginning of games. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5. I think TFT becomes much more interesting because depending on what you see, you can play all these different lines of variations. But a big problem that foundationally what's kind of been happening lately is it's actually inverted. It almost feels like you have all these options in stage 1, and then you like cut it out until you can play stage 2, and then even drawing it in this shape is like kind of disingenuous. The way it actually is right now is like this. You like basically have stage 1, you kind of can stay open on stage 2, but by stage 3 you kind of know exactly what to do. And the design of like how everything has been pushed so that it just feels like TFT kind of pushes you into this direction where like the best thing to do is to just say, okay, we'll screw all this. I know exactly what to do. I do think that this is also a symptom of I do think there's one other important element. I think that this is also a symptom of the player base just getting better. I think that some people, I get this message actually every day, but people say like, do you think TFT Academy like because it feels like you've given all the tools and you like kind of emphasize to people like how to optimize everything. You're like kind of encouraging them to play cosmetics. I know many people. I actually there's a channel that we used to have called TFT Academy, and because before it was like whenever we were mentioned, be like, hey, it's kind of cool. Now it's just like we're everywhere, and now people are like rolling their eyes. They're like using it as if it's like a pejorative thing. Man, I get queued up against all. It's like it's impossible to climb the masters this set because all these TFT Academy jabronis were drooling on the keyboard, just copy pasted from the #1 website, TFT Academy, where they master their skills in Teamfight Tactics and encode the latest meta trends with tier list and counter every patch. This is created by TFT experts. I can't believe I'm losing to these guys. It's kind of weird. I feel like it's almost like become like a TFT Academy. So that's kind of where we're at, right? That's kind of where we're at with this post. A lot of people responded saying greed, even with greed, emblem going forward with a stronger focus on one emblem per tempo. I mean, actually, funny enough, I think with this set, I actually think 3 emblem golem is like less helpful because of the way they train verticals. In fact, I actually think I would put 3 emblem golem on like the bottom half of the top 10 worst defenders. Like I think they're so like I think artifact is like awful. I think artifact angels are just completely awful. And I think some other portals could also be up there. I think like I don't want to say crab rate or scuttle, but I think anything that feels like the inevitability of the lobby snowballing against you is just very pronounced. Which could be a different thing. I'm probably gonna do like a set. Like talk about how I feel about set. It's probably like an episode. Yeah, probably. Also, I think this guy brings up a really good point. I think this is the reason people think shop odds are fucked. 0 flex play means going down and not seeing the exact means means you are doomed, so you pay more attention when energy doesn't go in. I think that's describing elements. Like, you are looking for very specific things, as opposed to spending your gold and realizing that you can play it. It does feel like that. And most of the set from these people are saying like it feels inflexible. I think it's right. I think this person brings up a really interesting counterpoint, which is Mordog talking about how novelty is really important. And we're gonna get to the Mordog response in a second here, and then we'll fully into this. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Start a new month. There's more fun stuff at TFT. I want to start off the month by giving a preview of upcoming artifacts. Our goal right now is that this will release at 14.9, and that's confusing because this was back in September. And this is where they introduce like all of these new artifacts. I forgot this artifact existed. This literally only worked on one champion that was manless every single set. And this was like Silvermere Dawn cranked up to like a 1,000. Unbelievably. Our goal with the artifact system is to be very different than core items. Core items have gotten a bit more homogenous and give you a bit of stats so that they can be very flexible. You never feel like you're 1% out of luck if you get them. This has limited proper design space for items. Artifacts are meant to be much more unique and open up wild possibilities, but as a result, will often be much more narrower. And that's actually sort of like an overarching concept that's actually affected. It's okay, for example, if an artifact is only viable in a few or even one champion per set. These are meant to be awesome, unique experiences you can set with different champions and reach new heights. It's actually interesting we read this 1 year later. We're excited for you guys to try these. Stay more tuned for previews. Yep. Basically, I hope you enjoy and so Mordog actually responded. That was really long time. If you guys are watching this, it took forever to get to this is where it gets good. First of all, it's important to note that Mort posted this yesterday on Labor Day. Hey folks, happy Labor Day. Hope you have a great time wherever you are. I want to take a second to acknowledge and talk about the thread titled Competitive TFT Isn't Funny. There's a lot of good points in the thread, and I appreciate Christopher for bringing it up. TFT has been around for 6 years now. That's crazy. 6 years is a long time. And players understanding the game has evolved, which is creating some new challenges that are on top of our mind as well right now. First, let's start with some challenges that we're aligned with that needs to be taken pretty seriously. 1, the game is too committal to 1 too often. Agree with this problem statement. There's a combination of factors right now, including but not limited to too many committal augments like hero and trade augments, fruits with stacking, and the risk of trying to swap off a power fruit, item and artifact rigidity, which is fun in contrast to what he just said, right, with artifacts in that previous code, that's why I brought it up. Optimized trait structures. And optimized trait structures. While it's important we have some options that can be used to help players who like that initial seeding direction, I believe we're currently too far in this space. I mean, I agree with that. I think a big part of it, and maybe this is what he means by design. There's a lot of elements of like the early game where if you take an augment, it just kind of tells you what you have to do, right? And there's anything from branching out, which I think is fun. I think branching out is really just to and Caretaker's ally. But there's also like many other things besides the hero augments that say like what you are doing, right? And it kind of puts you on rails. Maybe augments in general need to be more generic. Maybe they need to be less directional, but then that would make it more boring for a lot of players. A lot of players want to play TFT because they want to be excited and they want that novelty, and that it does matter. Oh, one comment, by the way, on the previous thread that I didn't mention that I remember reading when I was browsing it last night was that one of them said that the reality is designing the game for us in the subreddit, we're like a small percent, we're like 1 or 2%. Is it even worthwhile to make it a game for us when you would lose a lot of players who would not enjoy the game? And I think that's a fair comment that person said. Okay, 2, comps are too optimized so that flexing isn't realistic. Also generally agree here, and to be clear, we don't have any intention of removing flex play, although how powerful it is versus verticals will naturally change from patch to patch and set to set. If you have the item to make a Unicom work and hit something like Rise or Karma, it's generally too costly and unrealistic to swap over them. But you'd likely have to swap your entire surrounding comp as well to match the optimized lines for the champ. Part of this also stems from the fact that right now most powerful lines of groups are quite big farming alternatives. Again, balance issue, leading to pretty narrow paths you can take in your team building. Fruits have made this even more true as certain fruits enable lines, and without them, you're too far behind in power. I mean, I think he's just speaking facts. Like one thing we don't talk about is that almost every champion right now pretty much just wants 1 or 2 fruits. Is there even an example of a champion that you can use a wide variety of fruits for? Maybe Ashe? That's because they're all incredibly big now. Maybe Sky. I think maybe Sky Piercer might be her best power up right now, which is there's too much power in verticals and not in fruits. So what's interesting about this one right now in the live meta is that there are examples where it is true for sure. 6 Duelist, Udyr, 8-star Guardian Jinx, Fire Prodigy being the biggest one. But there's also clear examples where this is not true. The highest cap comp in the game is around Varus, Zyra basically ignores Trace completely. Malphite Snipers also mostly ignored verticals, choosing to play mostly bronze and silver trades because there's so much power in Malphite and Jhin. There's also just generally comps that are smaller verticals that you should in theory be able to flex around, such as 4 Supreme Cells Kai'Sa that's now playing Rammus, or 4 Mentor, which went from a 5 mech comp to now a 3 mech 3 execution. I agree with that. Support units could help fix things. While we're in turn looking at things like support units, there's a lot of folks on the team who want them back as well. This does not solve a lot of the challenges we're running into. Due to how comps are optimized in modern TFT, a support champ would often be in question, does this fit into the comp? Comps with smaller power requirements like Kai'Sa and Mentor comps, or even Sega Duelist, which doesn't need as much, will have a free slot to run these, while comps that don't, such as Fire Prodigy Yuumi, are likely not able to afford. And I think that is mostly, I'm mostly agree with that. That doesn't mean that support units won't help people feel like they have options. I think that that's the big problem with it is it doesn't feel like you can roll for anything else. The reason why we want support units is it feels like we have alternatives where if we don't hit this. If you don't hit this, what can you do if you don't hit this? This all leads us to the fundamental issue right now that I'm seeing that TFT needs to figure out, and that is, I think you said it right here, and that the perception and sometimes reality of optimization leads to a rigid game experience. I mean, okay, but the thing is, it's not just perception. There is a lot of rigidity to the game. So, but I think he's trying to make a point here. Generally, at any given point in building out your comp, there's a decision point. If you look at 5 Prodigy, 5 Battle Academia Yuumi, why does this comp not function at 7 BA, 3 Prodigy? Because players have rightfully identified that the value of 2 more Prodigy, but units like Ezreal and Syndra outweigh the value of more BA with Jace and Caitlyn. This is currently, quote, solved. You can adjust this with balance, such as nerfing 5 Prodigy, but the second you do, the solve will be swapped to 7 BA, 3 Prodigy. Unless the balance bound decision is perfect, there will always be a perceived correct answer decision laid out like this. And I think he's right, because if you guys remember set 12 with the Fairy Callista? Sorry if this brings up some trauma for you guys, but Fairy Callista, the composition, it was always incorrect to ever play more than the minimum amount of like more than 5 fairy. I think it was like 3, 5, 7. It was always incorrect to play 7 fairy because you would just rather play 5 and play other units, right? And they don't want that experience to happen for the player. And that's kind of what he's talking about. Like, yeah, they can nerf 5 Prodigy, but then they can nerf. Unless the balance around the decision is perfect, there will always be a perceived correct answer to any decision made out of it. Sorry, TFT Academy. I worry that in a world where every trait is maxed at 2 to 3, to simulate the removal of power from verticals, there would still be a perceived best setup for various calls. I mean, yes, but it would make it more. I mean, I think the argument against this is that it would make it still more interesting than just like, well, these 8 units you always play. But I guess what he's saying, like, even if every trait was maxed at 2 or 3, there would still be you always play these units, which is kind of what is happening with this Bears comp, right? This Bears comp actually has flexibility to it, but everyone plays it as if it's just the 9 unit rule. But there actually is flexible slots in this comp. But people play it as if there isn't. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I watched some streamers over the weekend. They played Fast 9 Bears and they rolled and they said, I missed. And I'm like, I think you should have bought things like some of these things on the way down. But they're like, no, I rolled down for these 9 units in the planner for Bears Fast. They're still playing it like this. Maybe because it's a skill issue, or maybe they're correct. But that's what I think more dogs talking about, the perception of it. We still see the challenges here as well and experience the frustration when we play with our live games. So we're right there with you. I don't have any specific solutions I can share today. But I did want to go on record as saying we see things as well and we're actively working on improvements. Appreciate the discussion and want to do it. So it's cool. It's cool that Riot actually responded to this. It's cool that Mordog responded to this so quickly because this was all within a 1-day period, right? This was 1 day ago. This is 15 hours ago
build an app
on a
and
holiday.
have
So
no
this is
idea
again,
how
this is
to
another
code
mark
or
of
where
like
to
why
start,
I think
check
many
out
people
Base 44.
appreciate TFT.
I
For some
built
people, this is
new
literally
habit
why you stick
tracker
around,
that helps
literally because of
users
that.
log small wins, track their
So
mood, reflect
this
on
kind of
past
communication
entries.
is great. I would say that. I want to say the first thing that I want to say is that this is really deeply appreciated. And it's great. The second thing I want to say is that this is also starting to sound very similar to some of the messaging that we hear around things such as dev learning. Because another really cool thing that I love about the Riot, about TFT and the Riot, is that they put out like a dev learning article at the end of the set. But they keep saying things like, oh, we're going to be working on this, and these are some of the lessons we learned. But then it feels like either the next set or 2 sets afterwards, it still feels like there's some issues around that. Whether it's like we learned that we shouldn't be putting as much power in the trades as some of these like verticals. They've actually pointed that in the past. And then it feels like they don't actually put that into implementation. Maybe it's a dev cycle thing. Maybe because as you guys know, TFT is right now working on. I think they're working on like set 18 right now. Like they're working not just on set 16, they're finalizing that, but set 17 should already be like in motion. I think they're like working like so maybe the stuff they're learning now is not something we felt a year, but that type of process feels like this is almost like setting up expectations to fail if that ends up being the case. That could be part of it. Another part of it is, you know, players are just the perception around it. We talk about the perception about these things, not actually matching.
The first guy goes down.
I don't think it's just down to us. A lot of the people that are saying this are people that want to be okay. But I do have to say that this is something that is appreciated, but I think actions speak a lot in terms of if you feel our frustration, let's actually see steps to get there. Now I will say that I have to say one thing, that a lot of my discussion around this is that I actually think a lot of this is balance, personally. Like, for example, they could just make... Remember when Cassante was so good that you could just play him every card? And it didn't really matter if you had Raider Primary, you could put him in there. And that is kind of like what Flexing this can theoretically be. And they can make a lot of units like that. They can make all the vertical Star Guardians give 1% buff, and they can make Jinx 2 and be really strong. They could do that. But they don't because they want to have a more dynamic game in terms of activating trades, primary items, primary augments, things like that. Because it's not just good. The emphasis that a lot of what this person is saying, Coco is saying, that if we design the game a lot of like heavily skewed towards this, which is not what he's asking for. But if we did skew heavily towards this would make it that traits don't matter, and to a certain extent, items don't matter. Because what really matters is whether or not you hit your upgraded units and you play around with upgrades. And for some people, that might be more fun, but for a lot of people, that's not. You don't want certain things to only matter to other people. But with that all said, I think balance in general in TFT has gotten wrong. I add so much preface because I feel like it's important to have nuance in these conversations. I actually think that generally speaking, on average, balance in TFT has gotten a lot better. Not this set. I think this set has been pretty bad overall, but that's because when I say bad, okay, bad is like a really strong word. It has not been to the level of where it was as recent as set 13. Set 13, I think, was a pretty good balanced set, even though 6 cost was yes, but that's whatever. I think set 13 was pretty good. Well, but then like set 12 was pretty bad, right? We can just say it. Set 12 was kind of a disaster. But then there's like, you know, phases where TFT's been good. On average, TFT's been really good about balance. But it feels bad to kind of be taking these 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, type of feeling. I think more also respond to some things here, because there's a lot of people that talk about different things, what they want. But, you know, I don't think it's good to play for loose streak this game. I don't like playing around 2 main units in the country. But, you know, I don't want all these double components and all this stuff. So we could be here all day yapping about it. This could be like a 4-hour powwow. But I want to just go over every time that more responds. So the first response was Clear. Clear is a player that qualified for regionals like a few years ago. He was sort of like, he was basically the predecessor to Dehua, just a rage baiter in chat that had qualified for an event. And just, like, loves dropping hot takes and disagreeing with people. I think he's largely retired now since he went back to school, but he's a fun guy to talk to. He said reducing the power level items in some way narrowed the gap between the best and worst items, but what it did was increase the reliance on traits to contribute to the strength of your comp. When items were strong and traits were weaker, you could buy different 2-star 4 costs in the main care of your composition and it would function reasonably well. But nowadays, if you're playing on Karma and you see 3 Yumis in the Unity shop, you just roll past it. Sure, you got Yumi 2 for free, but for Yumi to do anything, you need all her accompanying traits. Right? He's basically saying because items are pretty much consolidated, now the way you extract additional value, because it doesn't, like, items are like kind of similar. You would extract value through your traits. But it also costs you another 40-50 gold to pay for the BA, and a lot of you don't have, and a bunch of math here. Holy cow, I did like a lot of math. But like what BA is like with Jason without BA. If I'm playing on Dare Zero and I find Jace 3, how could I ever pivot to Jace to carry instead when I need 600 units that I don't have for him to function at all? A lot of the 4 or 5 piece traits are equivalent to power of 7, 8 piece from 2+ years old sets. Some of these 7, 8 piece traits shape look like prismatic traits from the set moment. Moore says, I agree on the item thing. That's actually a great point that item power going down has made them less impactful. The trait one, I'm not so sure I agree on those. Do you have any specific examples? Usually we look at also we left at how OP it was. Vanguard being 300 armor. According to Moore, assassin traits made the game very difficult to balance. I did not say this. Or maybe he didn't. Seems I'm misremembering. You did on stream. Alright. I don't know. That's all he said. That's all he said. So he didn't actually reply to anything else. Okay, so like, what can really be done about this? I mean, I think that the reality is TFT as a whole, the player base is getting too good. I mean, I would say my conclusion as one, the game has been optimized a lot. We're partially responsible, but I think that's just the inevitability of it. 2, I do think that TFT is going to continue to struggle because as far as I know, TFT, when you play around verticals, is actually really popular. Really popular because, you know, they people just want to play around. When I play other games that are like TFT, the first thing that I do, because it just makes it easier to strategy, but it's too optimized, it's too powerful. I think partially it's also exacerbated by how many more powerful things there are right now because of power-ups, because of artifacts, and anything like that. TFT in general is just power inflated. It's no longer about resources. It's just about if you hit Udyr 2 and you have best items on him, and you have best items on him, and you have Colossal on him, you cannot kill him unless you have like the actual Giga Nut set up yourself. Like that's a problem. I think that's the problem that they need to solve. Because I think it's true at its core that TFT wild, can feel like a grind fest. It feels too simple. It feels like too repetitive after a while.
Sauvage élixir. Dior.
Magnifique. On récapitule. La première monture, c'est cadeau.
Comment ça, vous me l'offrez?
Bah oui.
Oh bah dis donc. Vous êtes plutôt du genre direct, vous?
Pardon?
C'est réciproque. D'accord, pour le cadeau, c'est moi qui t'invite à dîner.
Alors, pour les verres,
Pour les verres, ce sera chez moi. Après.
Ouais, je suis pas disponible ce soir.
Pendant les jours Chris, votre première monture, c'est cadeau. Et pas que pour vous-même. Chris la confie.
Afraid of the
frère.
As long as you love me, we're under pressure. 7 billion people in the world trying to fit in. Keep it together. Smile on your face even though your heart is frowning. But hey now, you know girl, we both know it's a cruel world. But I will take my chances. As long as you love me, we could be starving, we could be homeless, we could be broke. As long as you love me, I'll be your platinum, I'll be your silver, I'll be your gold. As long as you love me, as long as you I'll be your soldier, fighting every second of the day for your dreams, girl. I'll be your hover. You could be my destiny's child on the scene, girl. So don't stress, don't cry. Oh, we don't need no wings to fly. Just take my hand. As long as you love me, we could be starving, we could be homeless, we could be broke. As long as you love me, I'll be your
Fais chier.
I'll be your silver, I'll be your gold. As long as you
Ils ont tout qu'à se gagner. Putain.
love me, as long as you love me, as long as you love me, please don't go. As long as you love me.
Le mec il a fait. I would like en gros de faire la bannière et le logo de la chaîne.
D'accord.
Où est-ce qu'elle est la putain de game de Samira? 19-01-52, 19-01-52.
Tu rates un bordel. premier, c'est celui où ils sont sur le toit à un moment, genre. Sur le toit. Non, celui-là, il est incroyable comment il est monté, genre. Je vois vraiment ce que je fais. Et je lui ai dit que c'était original et que j'aimais bien. Je lui ai dit, ben, pour le stream, genre, je vais lui mettre sa musique, genre.
Augment Code is the best AI coding tool for professional software engineers. They've put a lot of time and effort making a real
Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop. No, oh, 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 oh. Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop. No, oh, 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 oh. Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop. No, oh, 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 oh. You build me up, you break me down. My heart it pounds, yeah you got me. With my hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up. You build me up, you break me down. My heart it pounds, yeah you got me. With my hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up. Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop. No, oh, 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 oh. Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop. No, oh, 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 oh. You build me up, you break
concentrer parce que...
What the hell's going on here?
Oh God, hang on. Oh no, a car going too fast to stop in time. I'm handicapped now.
Hey guys.
No. Nighttime, not allowed doing. Just shut up and throw a chair. Okay.
Look, I'm so in love with you. Hey Guido, what's this?
Whoa, I've got to lay off the coffee. Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Why wouldn't you look at me during? From the top, boys. A 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh God, this is so disgusting. I think I'm gonna puke. Fuck! Hey, your weekend sucks. I've already gone on a hike and fixed a few things around my house. What are you doing?
Wow, this is incredible! What the hell's going on here?
Oh God, hang on. Oh no, a car going too fast to stop in time. I'm handicapped now.
Hey guys.
No. Nighttime, not allowed doing. Just shut up and throw a chair. Okay.
Look, I'm so in love with you. Hey Guido, what's this?
Whoa, I've got to lay off the coffee. Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Why wouldn't you look at me during? From the top, boys. A 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh God, this is so disgusting. I think I'm gonna puke. Fuck! Hey, your weekend sucks. I've already gone on a hike and fixed a few things around my house. What are you doing?
Peter, who is that man?
Did you just say I was fat?
Well, yeah, you are pretty fat.
Okay, this is news to me.
Love it.
Hate it.
Love it. Hate it. Guess I'll just go back to coughing.
Drop your pants.
Peter, you don't have to pull your pants down.
Oh, sorry, I'm still learning.
All right, start the search.
I think that's everything.
You want me to double check?
Oh, they're awful, those Nazis. If they catch me, they'll beat me unmerciful and rub dirt on his neck and all over my gassy nipples.
What?
Get some! Get some!
Do you like cake?
Yes.
Do you like my ass?
Yes.
Do you want to eat cake off my ass?
What kind of cake?
Angel food cake.
Okay, we're good this way. Is it clear in your direction?
Yep. I'm bored.
Official flower business.
Welcome to our home.
So what? She's like your mom or something?
I want you kids to go downstairs and bring the antifreeze in the garage.
I'm gonna chug it all so there's none left for you.
Hey, watch it! Peter!
What? Hey, Peter. I see nothing. Nothing. There you go. Good night. Why, Glenn Quagmire, it's been 10 years if it's been a day.
The Ford is quite good.
Yes, quite good.
Indeed.
Most certainly.
What year is it?
51.
Ah, delectable.
Indeed.
Yes.
Oh dear, what is it? I've spontaneously combusted.
Oh, I am sorry.
Oh, it's quite all right. I've grown tired of living.
Ah, very good then.
For the best.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, is it raining again?
Hey, I can take this hat off anytime I want. I just don't want to. Get away! I got a wicked boner.
What can I say? I'm a vegetarian. Oh!
Well, at least I didn't get robbed. And what can I do for you four fine black gentlemen today?
I could go for a stiff one.
I think they got a pill for that.
Shirt pants!
Who else but shirt pants?
He's shirt pants, shirt pants. He's trying to remember, but he really can't. He's shirt pants, shirt pants.
All I know for sure is I'm wearing a shirt and pants.
He's trash?
Trash? What? No, that's a functioning lamp.
He's okay. I take him.
What the hell is happening right now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 prostitutes.
Forgot my purse. Hello? Oh, you must have a wrong number. There's no one here by the name of Long Rod Von Futendome.
Okay, so on the count of 3, you try to push me out of the ring, I try to push you out of the ring. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Things gone crazy so fast! Oh, you sweet old broad, I love you. Hey! Oh my God, she's dead.
Help! Help! I'm drowning! Help!
We gotta get this woman to surgery time! Right stat now!
The Lord can't do everything, you know.
Blasphemy!
Heresy! Sodomy! Sorry, I don't even know what's going on. How you doing?
Bye-bye. Take care now. Have a nice day.
You gonna eat that stapler?
You can't eat a stapler.
Want to split it? Let me see that panel.
No, don't touch that! Come on, let me see this.
Move out of the way.
No, you can't.
I'm not gonna let you do this.
Don't touch my boob. I'm gonna tell Mom.
6 months later, I was asking her to marry me. What took me so long, right?
All right, we're running out of time. We gonna get this orgy started or what?
What?
We are running out of time. Are we going to get this orgy started or what?
Are you out of your mind?
Let me show you how the gun works.
Yeah, I noticed the hot lunch menu doesn't feature any gazelle.
I'll bring that up to the board.
Yeah, see, I heard that last year, and here we are again.
Why are you doing that?
Because I'm mad at this guy.
I'm mad at this jar of pickles I can't open.
Nail it up.
Breathe, just warm enough that you could wear short sleeves, but, you know, not so warm that you break any kind of a sweat. Because let me tell you...
Big gay fuck.
Big gay fuck, yeah.
How many think we should prevent 9/11? Raise your hand. Okay, all right, looks like 42. All right, who votes yes 9/11?
The cycle repeated as
Breathe, just warm enough that you could wear short sleeves, but, you know, not so warm that you break any kind of a sweat. Because let me tell you...
Big gay fuck.
Big gay fuck, yeah.